Sean and Nick for Pedals and Effects. Nick Reinhart got himself a Palisades, and he actually had his modded. How did you mod it, Nick?
I did this really crazy mod where I went to Target and bought some markers and I just colored it. It's this really awesome mod. Doesn't really affect the tone that much, but just it's visually pleasing, you know.
Could you do that mod for other people, like through eBay? Like, oh, send me your Palisades and I'll mod it for you?
Absolutely. I could probably put together like a schematic for the mod, actually, yeah.
And how much do you think we'll be selling that for?
The retail for this is just like, I don't even want to talk about it. It's out the window, you know. It's really expensive to get this mod done.
How's the Palisades working out for you, though?
The Palisades is awesome. When EarthQuaker announced that they were doing a Tube Screamer, well, it's not a clone, but their version of a Tube Screamer, I was really excited, and I emailed them immediately and said, whoa, how do I get one of those? And it was funny because Julie had wrote me back and she said, literally, there aren't any right now. Like, they're all gone. So that's how crazy it was right out the gates. So my main distortion for the last few years and all my bands has been a Tube Screamer, a turbo Tube Screamer. It's got the right mid-range and just like push for what my setup is, and my setup changes a lot, and the Tube Screamer has always worked perfectly with that. I've tried it against other distortions and overdrives and it's always the one I go back to. So when they said that they were going to do their version of it, I freaked out. And it's kind of like a funny story too. I think Jamie, who is the genius behind EarthQuaker, I guess the myth is that he didn't want to do a Tube Screamer. He was not into the idea. People had always asked him, and he's like, oh no, whatever. Like, why does the world need another Tube Screamer? And then I guess he got obsessed with Tube Screamer culture and the cult behind it, and he bought up all the weird modded ones. He bought up all the like weird rare ones, and he kind of just studied them and figured out how to put all that into one box. So the whole thing with Tube Screamers is like there's a million different mods that exist for it and all the different versions of it. And so what EarthQuaker were able to do is fit all that into like one little box, of course with their spin on it and their version of it. What I did was I took my Tube Screamer and just kind of set it exactly to where I wanted it and where I usually have it, and then I A-beat it up against this and kind of played around with it for a while to get exactly what I wanted. And I was able to get literally the exact sound out of this guy as my turbo Tube Screamer. Plus, on top of that, there's a million other options with this thing. There's an additional gain that you could add on top of the first gain thing, which is really cool because the way I would usually run my pedal would be the Tube Screamer with something after it to give it kind of the extra gnarly boost or whatever. Well, this comes with the gnarly boost inside it, plus a proper boost to just bump the signal anyway. So you have 3 gain stages really already. And then when you get into the bandwidth and the voicing knobs, there's 6 different voices, and then you can open the bandwidth up all the way to 5. There's a normal bright switch, and then there's a buffer, which I'm told that the buffer is more of something you feel, not something you can really hear. I think it's supposed to tighten it up a little bit. Yesterday, I was trying to figure out the number of tone options in this thing, like the mathematical equation of it. And it was just like, I couldn't figure it out if it was a permutation or a combination or just a bunch of crazy options. And so I tweeted out a picture of this and asked people to like help me out with what it is. And so everyone was able to decide and agree upon 480 options with this thing. And that's not including the tone or the actual gain knobs. It's just the switches and the buttons. So basically out of this little teeny guy, there's 480 options. Anywhere from like garage rock to just full on. My setting is this. I'm on 3 and 5, and that's just kind of like a wide open gain, like distortion. So this thing is really versatile and just gnarly.
480.
Yeah.
So next tweet, how do we stop global warming, Nick?
Right.
You got to do that.
Yeah,
Send that tweet out.
Yeah. See if we can figure that out.
All right, cool. Let's hit the Palisade.